All right, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always.
So today we're going to be looking at something I think is pretty interesting.
Right.
It's about how we perceive certain events, and I'm talking about things that are, kind of big events like riots and stuff, and how sometimes our perception of what actually went down can be pretty different from
reality.
Yeah, from reality.
Yeah,
sorry.
for sure.
So we're going to be looking at a specific example today.
Okay.
And we're going to be using a post that we found from the Skeptic Research Center on X.
Okay.
And they're looking at the George Floyd riots and specifically
The property damage.
the property damage. Yeah, people's perception of the property damage.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's kind of what we're going to be diving into today and seeing
It's real and
what's real and
Yeah.
what might not be so real.
all right, cool.
So right away, the Skeptic Research Center, they say that there's like a majority of liberals
Yeah.
who think that the property damage from the riots was like less than $10 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's a good example of what we were just talking about,
Oh,
where, we tend to see things.
Through our own lens.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
A bias?
it is. It's totally a bias. And psychologists, they talk about this all the time. They say, people, they tend to downplay the costs of anything that doesn't line up with their,
With their worldview.
with their worldview or their political leanings or whatever.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that myself.
Oh, yeah.
Where like, I said, no, it can't be that bad.
Right. And your brain's just kind of filtering it out.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
It is. And it's subconscious. You're not even aware that you're doing it a lot of the time.
That's crazy.
It is. It's really wild.
So we've got a lot of people thinking it was less than 10 million in damages. But the Skeptic Research Center, they're saying something a little different.
Okay. What are they saying?
They say that based on insurance filings, the damage was actually closer in $2 billion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
That's a huge difference.
that is a massive difference.
Yeah.
And
And it makes you think, like, how do we even get there?
exactly. Yeah. How do we end up with
Such different ideas about the same event.
yeah. And then on top of that, the Skeptic Research Center's post, they included this quote
Okay.
from somebody on X, and they were arguing that Black Lives Matter.
Huh.
They said it's based on a false premise
Okay.
because they were looking at the number of unarmed Black men who were shot by police in 2021.
Okay, and saying it's a low number.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a really overly simplistic way of looking at things.
Okay.
The statistic might be right, but like,
Yeah.
what does unarmed even mean?
That's a good point.
It's really subjective, And also the Black Lives Matter movement, it's
It's much broader.
It's-
way more than just shootings by police, It's about racial profiling, systemic inequality. It's a lot bigger.
right. So,
It's a complex issue.
so we've got these two things that seem kind of separate. The property damage
yeah.
and then this claim about Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Is there a connection between those things?
I think so. I think what they both show is that people tend to
Gravitate towards
gravitate towards ideas,
stories, narratives.
stories and narratives that kind of already fit with what they believe.
Yeah. And even if those stories,
Even if they're not the whole truth.
right, don't really reflect like the whole picture.
Yeah, and when you add in all the emotion around these really important issues,
Like race.
race, social justice,
Yeah.
it makes it even harder to sort of step back and be objective.
But really think critically.
Yeah,
It's like,
because it hits you in the feels.
yeah. And like our brains just kind of, they want to go with the feeling instead of like the facts.
Exactly.
And I think we all do that.
Yeah, we're all guilty of it. So it's really important to be,
Aware.
aware of it. And, try to,
Think critically.
think critically and look for different
Points of view.
points of view. Not just the ones that are comfortable for you,
Yeah.
but challenge yourself a little.
Absolutely. So, what would you say is like the big takeaway from all of this?
I think the big takeaway is that the way people perceive things,
Especially these big emotional events.
like riots or protests or whatever,
Yeah.
it can be really different from what actually happened.
Yeah.
And just knowing that,
Recognizing it.
recognizing it is the first step to actually getting closer to the truth.
Right. And it makes me think about that saying like, don't believe everything you think.
Yeah, good one.
It's so true.
It is so true.
So what do we do?
Well, don't just take everything at face value,
Especially on social media.
especially on social media. Dig a little deeper and look at things from different angles and really be honest with yourself about your own biases.
I love it.
That's how you get closer to what's actually going on, even if it's not always easy or comfortable.
Yeah, that's so true.
It is.
So I think that's a great place to leave it for today.
Yeah.
I know everyone out there, think about where you get your information from.
Yeah. Think about it.
Be a little bit critical of it.
Yeah.
Do your own research.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Absolutely. See you next time.